Ayo stood before them, not as a priestess, not as a warrior, but as a bridge. She placed her hand on the drum, not to command, but to commune. She remembered the stories. She remembered the silence. She remembered the pain of imbalance, and she beat the drum. Welcome to Omar's story Nook, where history gets spicy, legends get a remix, and imagination runs wild. Every tale you hear is a whisper of Omar, echoing across time, myth, and stardust. In the sacred city of Ife, where the first kings were shaped from bronze, where the gods are not stories but neighbors, where the sky once bowed to the earth, a secret has been humming beneath the soil. Not a weapon, not a relic, but a drum. Not carved, not built, birthed. They say it was the first sound, the sound that shattered silence, that called life to rise, that the gods themselves danced to. They call it the Starborn Drum. And now, after thousands of years, the drum has begun to whisper again, and the stars are listening. Beneath the temple of the sky gate, behind thick vine and forgotten myths, it slept. For generations, the oracles of Ife tended the site. They poured libations, whispered incantations, taught children to honor the silence because the silence was sacred. But one night, the silence ended. Ayo, daughter of seers, a young woman with an old soul, began to dream. Each night, she saw a drum, massive, glowing, breathing, beating in rhythm with her own art. She heard voices in a language she didn't speak, but somehow understood. On the seventh night, she returned to the temple, stood barefoot on the stone floor, and placed her palm to the earth. The ground cracked, the air thickened, and from the depths came the sound. One deep, resonant beat. The Starborn Drum had awakened. The drum was not made from wood or skin. It was forged of stardust, wrapped in stone older than earth. It pulsed with encoded rhythm, a language made of sound. Each beat told the truth. Each vibration mapped a star. And when Ayo stood beside it, she could see it, the cosmic memory, galaxies rotating in spirals, symbols dancing in sound waves, planets humanity hadn't discovered, named, civilizations lost in time, recorded in tone. The drum held it all. She wasn't just hearing music, she was reading the sky, and the sky was beginning to respond. Auroras shimmered over Ife, birds flew in perfect spirals, and priests across the land awoke, crying tears without knowing why. The gods were stirring. Thousands of years ago, when the drum last sang, they came, the Starborn. Not invaders, not deities, witnesses, keepers of harmony across worlds. They walked among the Orishas, spoke in light, danced in sacred groves, left behind wisdom, codes hidden in bronze heads, secrets stitched into divination chants. And when they left, they made a pact. Do not wake the drum again until earth remembers balance. But now, the drum had sounded, and far beyond the moon, they heard it, and they returned, descending not in conquest, but in quiet reverence, to see if earth had learned, to ask, are you ready to rise with us, or fall again into noise? Ayo stood before them, not as a priestess, not as a warrior, but as a bridge. She placed her hand on the drum, not to command, but to commune. She remembered the stories. She remembered the silence. She remembered the pain of imbalance, and she beat the drum, not with fist, but with soul. One pulse, then two. Then the earth itself began to join. Rain returned to dry lands, trees bloomed in forgotten fields. The skies lit up with a new star, her name in constellations, not because she was chosen, but because she chose. Now, every few years when the stars align over Ife, the ground vibrates again. Children wake with dreams of drums. Artists paint symbols they've never seen. And somewhere, a child begins to dance to a beat they've never learned, because the sound that made Earth still echoes, because the Starborn left more than warnings, they left a song. And as long as Ive stands, that rhythm remains. Not loud, not forced, but steady, because the earth remembers, and so does the drum. This isn't just a story. This is Omar's story Nook, where truth whispers between the lines and legacy refuses to fade. Until the next whisper of Omar, stay listening,